look at what is happening in the Middle East today. Are all states really created equal? If we had 200 and soon 300, if we ever have 250 or 300 countries in the world, are we still going to believe that all of these governments are equally competent, sovereign, capable of managing the world, of making rules in that way? I don't think so. And I think that if we were to grasp this concept of systems change for what it is, we would appreciate that we're much better off thinking about a world in which we have to find a way of harnessing, managing, creating accountability systems around these different actors and the roles they play, rather than attempting to put it all back in a box and create a really neat and tidy, parsimonious model and talk about how if we nation build these 100 or so countries that really need it, then one day we could have this state-centric, coherent world order. Again, it never really existed. It existed on a map. It didn't exist in reality. It will continue to fragment. It will continue to fall apart. Even the powerful states, even G20 countries, in which Argentina belongs. I'm sorry if anyone's from Argentina, but again, they're not even within the G20. They're not all equally powerful or capable. The few truly strong states that there are, and we do live in a world of certain states that are growing stronger and stronger, right? Brazil, India, China, and so forth. So we have structural change, but we also have systems change at the same time. But we don't have a diplomatic system that actually harnesses them, which is where this idea of mega diplomacy comes in. Now, I shouldn't have to put mega in there at all, because for students of diplomacy, there's a joke. Diplomacy is the second oldest profession, right? It has been around since before the state. I think the greatest theoretical error we make, and I wrote my entire PhD on this, is that we think of diplomacy as being about relations strictly among states. But if so, how could diplomacy be the second oldest profession? How could we have books that I sat in the New York Public Library reading for months on end about Babylonian diplomacy and Greek diplomacy and so forth, at times when we didn't have modern nation states and modern international law? Diplomacy is about the relationship between authorities, not sovereignties, authorities. Of course, for the last several hundred years, we've lived in a codified, legalized realm in which states have dominated diplomacy. But that doesn't mean that that is all of what diplomacy is. Throughout all of history, diplomacy has been about the relations and dialogue and negotiations among authorities. A think tank is an intellectual authority. A church is a religious authority. A corporation is a financial authority or resource authority. A university is an educational authority, a knowledge authority. There are so many different kinds of authorities. And a state is very much a legal authority, a military authority. But how is it that we have 13,000, according to Tufts University, a recent study, 13,000 paramilitary groups that operate around the world today, that are recognized? One can recognize their brand, their insignia, the number of troops they have under control. 13,000 of them. Well, that's more than the number of countries we have, isn't it?